Okay, while I was cutting out the daffodils, the leaves have dried. And I've got a problem. So is the hot glue. Lesson learned, don't hot glue the leaves to bricks. Because now I'm going to have to get the chisel out and try and prise it away without damaging the leaves. Okay, you're not going to be able to see me, but you're going to be able to hear me. I've already taken one off doing it this way, so I thought I'll set it all up properly on the workbench, clamp it down. I've put the brick in between here, and with the hammer and chisel it made life so much easier to get that other one off. I've just got to use the hammer left-handed. Make sure my chisel's the right way around so I don't go through the aluminium. That's gone straight through that glue. Look at that. So easy. You have a look around and see what you've got, and you can think outside the box of what's going to be the easiest way to do things. I suppose I'm lucky because I've basically got a hardware shop in my shed, and that's it, done with a hammer and a chisel, and there's your brick. One of these is a bit stiff at the moment. I've just had to WD-40 it. And there's my brick ready to go again. So, how simple was that? Okay, so now we've got... Move that out of the way. Now I've just got all these bits of hot glue stuck to the back of the leaves. And we really don't want that on there when we're going to be painting it. So I'm going to see if the chisel will lift it off or not. Not right-handed it won't, I haven't got any strength to move it. If I could just get a bit lifted, I might be able to get the nail underneath and then pull the rest off. So, okay, here we go. I've got to turn it on. Don't know if you can hear it buzzing. It's getting a bit warm. So all I'm going to do is try and melt this glue a little bit. I'm going to cloth here once it starts to look a bit soft, and see can I wipe it off. That's the one that was lifting the brick as well, so it's got like a bit of a brick layer attached to it. I think that is going to be good enough. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I can't glue them down because I don't want to go through that again. It'll take the paint off the other side, which I've already started doing with chipping it. But that's alright. We'll see which turns out to be the best side that can go on the outside, and the one not so good can go on the inside. So I'm now going to spray them and then get them in there, out of the wind, so they don't blow around and cause a problem. Now, open your leaves up a little bit so they look more natural. These ones are actually a bit shorter than the other one I made, and I think it looks better having the shorter ones. Whoa! the glue on that. Didn't stick to, that's still wet. So that bond, that weld bond is not a good glue. So there you go, we've just found something new out. Okay, I'm actually going to use my Loctite super glue, which is the one I normally use for jobs like this. Let's just hope there's some left in the bottle, yes. Doesn't feel like there's a lot left in there. Either that or I've not got enough pressure with my right hand, could be a problem. No, that's better. Well, I think I do need a new bottle of this. Okay, so we're going to have to, while we're waiting for that, I'll show you what I did to finish it off so it looked rather cute. I bought myself a bag of green gems. They're actually called pot toppers. The only problem I found with them is they're very dusty, so they don't actually look that great. Cute little bag that it's in. So you can see they are a bit dusty. If you wet them, just clean one off, you can see the difference. So what I did, I got myself a bowl of water. I'm not going to throw all those in because then it's going to be difficult to get them all out again. Let's move you up a bit. I've got a small laundry bag. Put them all in there. Swish about a bit of the water. Pop that down there. An old piece of towel out. Tip your rocks onto the towel. Over there to dry. And that's it. Just give them a pat dry. Don't need to be perfectly dry. And then what I did was I just threw them around the base. Don't have to put many in. If you've got the time, you can go around and turn them all over because you've got a flat side and you've got a domed side. They do look nicer if they are domed rather than flat, but it doesn't really matter. That's only if you've got time. And then I threw some on the top as well. And it actually looks like you've got a bit of greenery that your flower is growing out of. And these bags, they were $6 each. So all in all, they're not really expensive to make. Yeah, it might sound expensive in the beginning when you've got to buy your epoxy, you've got to buy your aluminium. If you're doing short flowers and you can get 2 stems out of 1 piece of steel and 1 piece of PVC pipe, it works out quite cheap. It's something that you can make for a gift for the person who's got everything and you just don't know what to get them. You don't have to do flowers on your pot. You could put an upside down pot, put another one on the top and put a face on it and make it a dress or trousers or jeans or whatever, and then put your glass flower on the top and have some flowers growing around inside as well, so it looks like the figure's got hair. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those pots around. So that's it. I'm just going to wait for this to dry. I'm not going to try anything with it until I know the super glue was actually taken. So I might have to come back to finish that off, and then I can put it in place and show you where it's going to live. I think that's all at the moment until we've got this finished, so I'll be back later with this one. Okay, finally we have a glass flower that is actually stuck using the epoxy. Pop it over our stem, push it down a little bit, and if you wish you can bend the leaves out a little bit. And what I've done is I've got some deck solar lights and I pop it down inside the pot, stick it in the sand. During the day I have it out in the sun, and then later in the afternoon I bring it in knowing it's well charged and pop it in there, so at night once the sun's gone down, it gets dark under here, I've got some extra light underneath the patio. Now you need to see where they're going to live. I've already got one up there and I've got to put this one. So I'm going to, how am I going to do this? Turn the camera and see if I can get this corner in. Go! Well, that didn't work. I'm going to have to clean all this up, start again. I don't know what's going on with the epoxy. This one that I was using yesterday, it's got a yellow and a white. And I think what I'm doing is I'm not pressing these with even pressure. So there's more yellow coming out, and that's why it's not sticking as it should, and it's actually drying yellow. This one, maybe because I didn't use this nozzle, it must mix as it's going through the nozzle, so it mixes properly. I'll try it and see how I go. I've got some more dishes I can play with and see what happens. And once I've worked out what it is, I will come back and tell you. But at the moment, I'm really sorry. That one worked, this one didn't, and I'd say it's user error. So I'm now going to try the Loctite. This one I don't need to mix. I can just plunge it and it goes straight on as is. But first of all, I've now got a lump of epoxy. that's stuck on there. So I've got my Dremel all rigged up. Let me get the cable up there a bit. Makes it easier. And I'm going to very slowly, I've got a grinding disc on the end, and just very slowly I'm going to be, I don't know if you can see, chipping away at the epoxy. Okay, as soon as I could hear glass, I'm assuming that's got all of it off. Now, I'm going to turn it back upside down and give it a clean. Okay, so we have the bloopers. What I did was this flower here, I used the Tarzan's Grip Epoxy. It didn't dry quite so yellow because I didn't get a better mix of the two, but it is a little bit creamy, not completely clear. So definitely use error. This one I used the Loctite, and that was all clear. And the nozzle, that long nozzle thing, it was interesting watching the two lots coming through, the two elements. It's actually got a zigzag all the way through the tube, and you could see the epoxy mixing as it was going through. So again, you have to use the tube. Unfortunately, there's a lot of waste because I did siphon it back, but what was left in there still dried out and I couldn't use the tube again. So what I did was I used it. I had to use it again because what I did, I used the teaspoons for these flowers, and unfortunately the handles of the teaspoons weren't long enough to sit inside here and be supportive. So I found two forks, took the fork head off and glued the handle of the fork to the handle of the spoon. So it now actually sits further down, so it's got a bit more balance. That's when I worked out mixing the two properly actually does a better job. So now we know both epoxies work well. It's the way you use it yourself, the way you apply it. So what I did, I've made these two, bought two new pots. Unfortunately, I didn't even think about it because I was just going to make them the same as I did with the daffodils and not put plants in. Then I decided these would look nice with some succulents in, and you could give them as a gift. I didn't seal the pot, so you can see there's a difference in the terracotta, the wet part to the dry part. So what I might have to do is take all this out later, let it dry out, seal it, just use, remember the Bond Creek that I've used before? Use that, seal it, and then this discoloration won't happen again. So anyway, there's the end of the bloopers. I hope you've enjoyed watching me fixing my errors. Bye for now.